I went back to an experience I had in college. Because when I was in college, I wanted to learn as much as I could about disability. And I asked one of my professors if he had some recommendations. And he said, yeah, he said, you can do some volunteer work at a school that I'm on their board of directors. And the school teaches kids with disabilities. It'll be a great experience for you. I said, that's fantastic. And so I signed up to be a volunteer. And I went for my first day in the class, right? And they assigned me to a class of teenagers. The teacher's name, I remember it now, his name was Mr. Johns. And so I walked in, I said, I met Mr. Johns, and I said, I'm ready to go. Mr. Johns said, here's our kids. And I turned around and looked at them, and there were some kids like Carrie, but there were also some kids with disabilities I had never seen before. And what was most pronounced to me were there were children in this class, teenagers, who were hydrocephalic. Now, hydrocephalus is a condition that causes a child's brain or head to get bigger because the fluids that move around our brain don't flush out appropriately. And because the fluid has nowhere to go, the craniums of these kids get bigger. And so I saw these kids. I had never seen somebody with hydrocephalus before. It took my breath away. The difference was dramatic. And I thought, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can stay here and do this volunteer work. And I was trying to think, what kind of excuse can I come up with so I could get out of this? And so I thought, well, I'll just kind of hang in there. I'll try to tough it out for the day, and then I'll make an excuse and never come back. And so we came to recess in the morning. And Mr. John said, Al, take the kids out, make sure they don't kill each other. And so I said, okay, and I take the kids out. And one of the kids with hydrocephalus came over to me. And he came walking over to me. My heart started beating. I'm thinking, oh my God, what could I say? I had a hard time even looking at him. And he said to me, Mr. Condalucci. And I said, yes. And he said, do you know about girls? I said, do I know about girls? I'm Italian, for God's sake. We invented romance, right? Of course I know about girls. I said, what do you want to know? And so he liked one of the girls in the class, and I said, stick with me, kid. This is going to work out for you. I'm going to coach you through this. So we go back into the classroom, and gets to lunchtime. Another kid comes over, another different kid, hydrocephalic. And he says, Mr. Condalucci. I said, yes. He said, do you know about music? And I said, do I know about? I'm Italian. We invented it, right? The music. Don't tell the Greeks. And so he wanted to learn to play an instrument. And third experience, later in the day, another kid, hydrocephalic, asked me if I knew about baseball. I said, of course I know about baseball. I'm Italian. We invented it right after bocce. Right? We came up with baseball. But at the end of the day, Mr. Johns came over to me and he said, we're going to see you tomorrow. Yeah, I thought this is my chance, right? This is my chance to get out of this volunteer work. And then I thought about the kid that needed to know about girls. And I had to help him. And I thought about the kid that was interested in music, and I had to help him too. And I thought about the kid that was interested in baseball, and I had lots to teach him about the game. So I stayed. And I told Mr. Johns, I'll be back. And as I thought about that experience in my work as an advocate, a light bulb went off. Because what really was the key was that I had begun to develop a relationship with these kids. As short as it was in that time that I was there, I developed a relationship with them. And so I came back and I said, there's some magic here, because in that experience, whose head actually got bigger? My head. I was the guy that began to change, not the kids with the disability. Now that was magic to me as an advocate, because what was the key to that change was relationship building. What we know about social capital, and by the way, the name social capital is very strategic. The word capital means value. right? And our relationships bring value to our lives. It's amazing the value you get from your relationships, because through your relationships, you literally, with reciprocity, get things that you would have to pay for, right? Now, sociologists call that instrumental value. They actually have identified that the amount of money that we save because of our relationships is dramatic. One study that I researched while I was working on a book on social capital was by a researcher in New York. And what he did was he took the roles that his wife played for the family, lovingly and freely, right? She took care of the kids, and she prepared the meals, and she did the laundry, and she did the shopping, and she chauffeured the kids around. I mean, you ladies know this, right? She ended up doing all these things for her family, but she did them lovingly, and because she had a relationship with them. He even identified the sexual favors that she offered. And he took all these roles and he measured how much he would have to pay if, in fact, he had to buy these things. And what it came up to was $250,000 a year. Ladies, use this. Right? I mean, this when he tells you that he's, that he's angry because you bought a $100 pair of shoes, say, hey, wait a minute, time out, Jack. I saved you $250,000 a year. Right? But the value is powerful. We're healthier because of our relationships. We're happier because of our relationships. We live longer. Literally, studies have shown that longevity is enhanced. But there's more. We become better people. We become more tolerant. We become more respectful to the people we know. I mean, consider this scenario. You're driving to McDonald's, and you go through the drive-thru. And the kid gives you the order, and you give him the money, and he gives you $10 more than he should have in your change. You don't know this kid. You look at it, you say, 10 extra bucks? What the hell? I eat this shit all the time. This could be for my stints, so I'll save this, right? So you don't use the money, you don't give the money back to the kid, you might just drive away. That's honesty. And dishonesty is driven by disconnections between people. But if that kid was your nephew or your son, and he gave you too much money, you would say, oh, honey, you gave me too much. The register won't balance. You better take it back. So social capital is this huge kind of notion that makes us better as a society. When people know my cousin Carrie, they treat her better. Now, we know sociologically that literally the typical person, and this is an atypical group here today, but the typical person has about 150 important relationships in their lives. 150. It's actually been studied through social network analysis. When we did a study of people with disabilities and how many relationships they have, we discovered that the number was tragically low, about 25. I mean, this is a huge gap. And so no wonder people will tease or make fun of somebody. No wonder people will walk away or disregard somebody when they don't have a relationship with them. So this idea of social capital is a powerful framework for building a better community, for allowing us to be better people, for creating a society where everybody respects one another. Right? Brings me to this quote, this beautiful quote from Schweitzer, because in the end, it's really, have we mattered? In the end, have we made a difference? In the end, have we made this world better than we found it? And our relationships, our social capital, is the fodder that allows us to answer that question, yes, we have. Yes, we did. And so as we sit here today with hundreds of people that you have in your life that prop you up, that make you help you become creative, that challenge you, that scold you when you need it, that inspire you just at that moment when you have, then thank social capital for that. And know that today, any of us can open gates for other people who have been left behind. And there's a lot of folks like my cousin Carrie who have been left behind. We can change the world. We can, if we dare to create, if we dare to open our minds, we can create a community where everybody belongs and is valued. Thank you very much. God bless you.